Hi guys, I am Alex Coghe, I am a professional photographer, and today in the street photography channel we talk about Canon EOS 5D Mark II. Can we use a camera like that, released in 2008 in 2024? I believe that yes, we can do it. In fact, I just purchased this camera with the purpose to use it for my commercial work, for my photojournalism, for the event coverage, especially. But the first hands-on review for my blog that I realized I made street photography. I used the camera on the street, so I want to talk about the experience of working with this camera on the street. Because clearly this is a camera that you can see is huge, is heavy, is bulky, is not discreet at all, is also very loud. As you can hear, it is not discreet at all, no? So it is not the ideal solution, of course, to make street photos, but I used this camera on the street, and for several reasons I enjoyed the process, the workflow during 2 hours of making photos on the street. It is a slow down experience, of course, because many times we tend to consider for street photography cameras that are more discreet, not flashy, not that big. But when you are using this camera, of course, you are not hiding yourself at all. You have to stand still and photographing. In fact, I realized a lot of photos of buildings also, but that is not an issue with me, because I consider street photography to be the whole experience, and the whole experience is to take photos on the street with my vision, with my personal vision, because I don't believe that I need to be constrained in aesthetic rules, in order to respect what is or what is not street photography when I am on the street, because I am doing my photography. So it is not really important to me what I am doing in the sense of to be in street photography. It's important to present my personal vision, my personal aesthetics, so that is the important thing. So if I want to make a portrait, I will do so. It's not very important to me that. To me, it's more important to be a street photographer than to respect, to be into street photography, no? So a slow down experience with this camera when I am shooting on the street, clearly. Of course, as I said, I will not use the camera for street photography. I purchased the camera especially for my portrait work, and for photojournalism, for documentary work, for event coverages, and but of course, by having a 50 millimeter, that in this case is a young now. In the future, I will buy the Canon because it's better and offers better performance. I will stay with that lens. I don't need to have many lenses. In fact, I consider to work with the 50 millimeter because it will represent my aesthetics and my vision. Image quality. I am impressed about the image quality because I used RAW. It was like 11 years not using RAW, so I shoot RAW for the hands-on review in order to see what is the difference. And I can say that in my opinion there is not that much difference if you use super fine JPEG and I am using the superfine JPEG using the camera log, so I put on 0 the contrast and the sharpness, and I edit the images directly in Lightroom after, and I don't see that big difference that makes me change my mind, because I believe that we the photographers, if we make a good work when we work with the camera, you don't have to modify a lot the images, so I stay with the superfine JPEG, is perfectly okay. But yesterday I made 2 shots here from the window, and I am impressed with the black and white rendering of this camera in respect, for example, to the Canon Rebel T7. Now, the Canon Rebel T7 is a newer camera in respect to this. It is like 10 years younger than this camera. It is a 24 megapixel camera, that is a 21 megapixel, and I don't know why, but the image quality, of course, that is a full frame camera, the other one is an APS-C camera. The black and white rendering of this camera is superior. Is superior in the rendering of the black and white. You know, I am focus. I shared with you already that I am a full-time black and white photographer now, and I am very focused on the black and white, and I can see the difference between the two cameras. So I think that is a great asset for my photography to count with this camera. Talking about the AF system, autofocus system. For my street photography, for example, I use 2 Olympus cameras, Olympus pen cameras, and I am going with some focusing technique using manual focus. So I am used not to use for street photography autofocus, but I am using manual focus with the zone focusing. And for DSLR, of course, the things change. With my Canon Rebel, I am using autofocus, I servo, and one shot. That is the combination, no? Of settings. But let's talk about autofocus. I know that with the modern cameras with mirrorless cameras right now, also even included the last Canon cameras, have a lot of options of different autofocus modes. Or for example, there are a lot of points, 115 points of autofocus, but I don't believe in that. I don't believe because okay, when you are using the camera, you are expect I am going to change in the point of the focus. No, of course you are using most of the time just maximum 3 focus point. I use one because when you are used to use one and using the back button focus, the block or the autofocus, you can recompose the scene. If you keep the button focus pressed, you recompose the scene, so you don't have to use other focus points. So I think that is a marketing trap, a marketing strategy in order to say, oh, this camera is powerful with a lot of autofocus modes and autofocus points, but I don't believe that much to that. I don't believe we need a lot of autofocus modes or autofocus points in order to achieve results that are stunning. This camera with the center point focus, it works perfectly. I achieved to make the most of the photos in focus, much more, for example, that with my Olympus cameras that fail in that. In fact, I am using with them the manual focus, no? So for the autofocus system, that is my opinion. We don't need these things that the marketing dynamics is going to let you believe, no? Battery life, of course, is another pro in respect to mirrorless. You know that mirrorless cameras are sucking a lot of energy of our batteries, so the result is that for example with the Canon M200 I am using 5 batteries. I need to go with 5 batteries. Things that think that is not happening with the DSLR cameras. I have just one battery right now with this camera, and is sufficient for many days, not hours, many days. That is a great pro of the DSLR cameras still, because of course you are using a viewfinder, a real one, an optical viewfinder. That is in this case is 98% of the vision. That is not bad at all, because when you will you will go to see the photo in Lightroom, you will see a little bit more of space, so you can crop a little bit if you want. It's not bad at all to have a 98% of the vision, but it's a real viewfinder. To me, real viewfinder is an optical viewfinder and not an electronic viewfinder. I know that is something out of times for many, but you know, I am a boomer and I believe that photography is still the same. We passed more than a century making photos in a certain way, and we consider and we love most of the photos made in over a century of photography, of history of photography. I don't know why we should consider other ways to make photos right now. Photography is always the same. So I go some focus with my mirrorless cameras for street photography. I go with autofocus system, but with the center point focus. So I keep it simple because I need to be focused on the composition and the content. The form and the content is the main concern for me and not other things. So it's better to stay focused on that. And as a conclusion of this video, I want to say, how is this camera for street photography? Of course, this video is focused on street photography because so far I used the camera for street photography. This camera is not the most recommended tool for street photography, of course. I have other cameras to make that. But despite this consideration, I love to make photos on the street with this camera. Because to have a big camera, it responsibilizes you more in respect to a small camera. It gives you a slow down experience. You have to be more concentrated. You are not hiding. You are not using a ninja style that I hate as term, a ninja style approach. And it is important. When I arrive with my camera, it is pretty clear that I am a photographer. I am working with my camera, and that is exactly the reason why I abandoned in 2010 the DSLR cameras, and right now it seems like a reason to back to use a DSLR camera. I never used so far, I never owned a DSLR cameras big like that. I was using just the considered entry-level cameras, the Rebel cameras that I love because they are smaller than that, and they are perfect for street photography, despite they are DSLR cameras. Canon, I love my Canon Rebel T7, but with this camera is another experience. Is a form to make photos in a different way. It responsibilizes me, and as I said, it's a slow down experience that allows me to make a different kind of photos, where I am even more concentrated on the form, on the composition, but I don't have any other issue, in the sense that I know that most of the time the photos will be in focus, the photos will be okay from the image quality point of view, and that is. So I think that I am happy to have purchased this camera. More will be proposed on this channel in order to know a little bit more about my experience, my personal experience with this camera, with the Canon 5D Mark II. I will photograph professionally with this camera, of course, with my models, with my projects of portraits, with the coverages, and commercially for anyone that wants my services as a professional photographer in Mexico City. So stay tuned, guys. We'll see you soon with another video. Thank you very much to stay here today.